Attention, brave souls. What you're about to witness might make your heart race. Before the suspense takes over your screen, click subscribe now and hit the like button. Get ready for a spine-chilling experience. But be warned, only the boldest will survive until the end.
My name is Captain Thomas Grayson, U.S. Army, Classified Division. I'm 48 years old. I've spent more than 2 decades in operations you'll never hear about, in places that officially don't exist. But tonight, I'm breaking that silence. I don't know how long this message will stay up. Maybe minutes, maybe less. But if you're listening, know this. There are things out there that defy explanation. Things that move in the dark, things that watch, things that learn. I was sent to North Carolina's Great Dismal Swamp on what was supposed to be a recovery mission. Standard procedure. Find the missing, clean up the mess, and make sure no one ever asks questions. But what we found, we weren't meant to survive. We deployed at 1900 hours. The swamp was thick with fog, the kind that clings to your skin and makes the air taste stale. There were 6 of us in total. My team, all seasoned, hardened men who had seen the worst the world had to offer. We weren't rookies. We weren't the kind to scare easy. But something was wrong from the start. The outpost was dead silent. No voices, no movement. Even the damn insects wouldn't make a sound. Just a small, dimly lit structure in the middle of the trees, its doors left half, open like someone had left in a hurry. Command, this is Grayson. We're inside. No sign of personnel. No response. Inside, the walls were smeared with something dark. Not blood. Not exactly. It was thick, tar-like, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. Bullet casings littered the ground. One of the computer monitors flickered, a broken feed looping over and over again. I signaled for my men to secure the area. Ramirez, Harris, Collins, all watching the shadows like they were expecting something to crawl out of them. Then we heard it, a voice. Weak, broken, from deep inside the outpost. Help me. Collins raised his rifle. Survivor. I wasn't so sure. We moved forward. The hallway stretched ahead, the kind of dark that swallowed light whole. The voice continued, but something was off. The tone, the cadence, like someone repeating a sound without understanding what it meant. Then Ramirez screamed. We spun around, weapons raised, but he was just standing there. His mouth frozen mid-scream, eyes wide in terror, body locked in place like he'd been turned to stone. Ramirez. I stepped forward, reaching for his shoulder. That's when I saw it. Beneath his skin, just below the surface, something moved. Ramirez didn't blink. He didn't breathe. His skin was clammy damp, like something left in the dark for too long. But beneath it, something was moving. I saw it slither, coil, shift. Not muscle, not bone. Something else. Something that didn't belong. Ramirez. I called his name again, but he didn't react. Didn't even twitch. His mouth was still frozen mid-scream. His teeth clenched so hard I thought they might shatter. Then, suddenly, he turned his head slow. Mechanical. Too slow. Like a puppet learning how to move for the first time. I took a step back. My instincts screamed run, run, run. But I stood my ground. That wasn't Ramirez anymore. Collins raised his rifle. Chepton, what the hell is this? Ramirez blinked. Once. Too long. His pupils dilated, contracted, then stretched into something inhuman. Then, he smiled. Not a real smile. Not the kind you see on a person. This was wrong, like he was mimicking the idea of it, stretching his lips too wide, too slow. And then he spoke. Chapton, help me. His voice. It was his voice. But it wasn't. Something was off. The rhythm, the tone, like someone had heard Ramirez talk once and was trying to repeat it, but didn't understand what words meant. Collins lost his nerve. Fired. A single shot. Straight to the chest. Ramirez, or what used to be Ramirez, staggered back, looked down. Then he did something I will never forget. He laughed. Not a real laugh. Not a human laugh. A distorted, broken imitation. Choking, wheezing, like a machine stuck in a loop. Then his body collapsed in on itself. I don't mean he fell. I mean his skin folded inward like paper, his bones cracked, his limbs twisted. 1 second, he was there. The next, He was gone. No blood, no body, just empty gear on the ground, and the sound of something skittering in the darkness. Everyone out, now! I barked the order, my voice barely my own. Harris bolted first, gun up, eyes wild. Collins hesitated, staring at Ramirez's abandoned uniform like he couldn't comprehend what he had just seen. Then the lights flickered, and we heard it. The same voice, Ramirez's voice, but this time it was coming from the hallway behind us. "Captain, help me," hollow, echoing, repeating. Then another voice, Harris's voice. "Captain, over here." But Harris was right next to me. Then Collins. "Captain, please." One by one, the voices of my men filled the space around us, each perfect, each precise, each coming from something that wasn't there. I felt my blood turn to ice. They weren't just mimicking, they were learning, and we were trapped. We ran, not because we wanted to, not because it was the right tactical decision. We ran because every fiber of our being told us that if we stopped, if we hesitated for even a second, we wouldn't be human anymore. Harris was breathing hard beside me, his rifle shaking in his hands. "What the hell was that, Captain?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know. Collins was already ahead, leading us toward what our maps said was an old military bunker. Long abandoned, long forgotten. If we could reach it, we'd have shelter. If we could reach it, maybe we'd stand a chance. The swamp was alive with sound now, but not the kind that should be there. Not insects, not wind. Voices. Ramirez's voice, Harris's voice, my voice. Somewhere behind us, the things in the dark were speaking. Not to communicate, not to threaten, just to remind us that they had learned. The bunker appeared through the fog like something out of a nightmare. Concrete, rusted metal, a door that had been left open for far too long. We rushed inside. No one questioned why the door was open. Collins sealed it shut behind us, locking the steel mechanism into place. For a moment, we thought we were safe. Then the lights flickered, and we saw the writing on the walls. Not just any writing. Reports, declassified documents, some dated as far back as 1952. Pages scattered, pinned to the walls, covering every surface like the desperate notes of a man trying to warn someone, anyone. Before it was too late, I stepped forward, my hands shaking as I read. Project Eco, failed containment, adaptive mimicry. The last entry was scrawled in uneven handwriting. They don't just kill, they replace. A sound behind me. Harris. His breathing was ragged, panicked. "Captain," he whispered. I turned. The bunker had a mirror, and in that mirror, Harris wasn't alone. I don't remember how I got out. 1 second I was in the swamp, my team gone, my rifle useless, the world closing in around me. The next, I was stumbling onto the extraction site, blood drying on my hands, my breath ragged, my mind racing with things I didn't understand. The chopper was there, waiting. They didn't ask questions. No one ever does. They just loaded me and strapped me down and lifted off. I sat in silence as the swamp disappeared beneath us, swallowed by darkness, by fog, by the thing that let me go. Because that's the part that haunts me most. It let me go. They debriefed me for 7 hours straight. First, the usual questions. What happened? Where's the team? Did you engage the target? Then the ones that dug deeper. What did you see? What did it say? Did it touch you? I told them everything. Every last goddamn detail. And when I was done, they locked it all away. The official report. Training exercise gone wrong. 6 men lost in the swamp. No recovery. No further investigation. Case closed. But it wasn't closed for me. I couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. The way they moved. The way they learned. The way they watched me as I ran, as I fought, as I screamed. And then, the moment they stopped, the moment they let me live. Why? Days turned into weeks. I kept my head down, followed protocol, told myself it was over, until the night I looked in the mirror. I was shaving. Routine. Muscle memory. The blade scraped against my jaw, the sound sharp in the silence. Then, for a second, just a second, I looked up, and my reflection, it didn't move. Not right away. Not like it should have. I dropped the razor, stepped back. My breath caught in my throat. The reflection followed. Too late. Just a fraction of a second, like something wearing my skin, like something watching me from the inside. I reached out, touched the glass. My fingers were cold. The mirror was warm. And then, it smiled, not me. The thing that let me go, or maybe the thing that left with me.